Hey everybody, Ryan McCaffrey with IGN. I am joined by reviews editor Dan Stapleton. Dan, I have just reviewed, or well, you're watching the review commentary for Beyond Eyes, a new Xbox One game from the ID at Xbox program that is a little different than what you may be used to.
Yeah, it's not. There's not a lot happening on the screen there. It feels like there's something we're not seeing.
That is because our heroine here, Ray, is a young girl who's been blinded in a childhood accident. And so I was very eager to take this review because on the surface, the premise of this game is fascinating, where it's definitely a walking simulator, to use the somewhat negatively connotated subgenre term, but where, this is the gameplay. What I'm doing right now, pressing up on the stick and walking around, and then occasionally pressing A to interact with something.
It looks like they've just turned the draw distance slider all the way down.
But yeah, because Ray could see as a small child, she has memories of what things are supposed to look like. So as she walks and sort of feels her way forward, and we saw there a second ago, she heard the sound of something familiar. It would pop in the graphic, it would show you, you'd be able to see it then.
Kind of Daredevil-esque.
Yeah, a bit. And so the point, here we go, Ray was beginning to lose hope. So the point of the game, the story, is that you're looking for your cat, Nani. Those are the cat sounds we're hearing right now. Oh, we've got a lead.
But all in all, you did not find this type of gameplay particularly enthralling.
No, again, I actually really wanted to like this, but at the end of the day, a game like this, by design, really has nothing but its story to fall back on, because the story is the gameplay. Pressing up on the stick is not gameplay. Okay, that's a wall where you can't go over there. We're going to have to make our way around.
It's the most, the simplest of game designs, and then it's just a maze, basically.
And so, you're navigating your way through. It's impossible to fail.
Right.
You can get lost, and that's actually sort of, getting lost is a bit part of the game design, not in sort of an intentional hoodwinking kind of evil way, but you'll at times sort of find your way into a dead end and be like, okay, well, I'm blind, so I'm trying to find my way. And so,
but fortunately, there's no traffic you can wander out into.
Actually, in one scene there is, but you're not in danger. Fortunately, there's so occasionally the sounds you'll hear, you think are one thing, so it will sort of pop up as one thing, but then when you actually approach it and are there to either physically experience it or be able to hear it up close, it will actually turn out to be something else.
What does the cat turn out to be? No spoilers.
Well, the cat is a big part of the story, and the cat, actually the ending of the game was the saving grace for me. I still am not giving this a fantastic score, but the end of the game. Well, let me back up a second. So, at the end, you really get no story throughout the course of it. That text overlay we just got, that one sentence, you get that very rarely. This right here is about 95% of your this is about a 2 to 3 hour game, depending. How good you are at walking in the direction that you're supposed to go. So in this case, we're smelling something. Oh, that wasn't the cat. That's a sewer. So that's not what we're looking for.
Does her cat smell like a sewer?
Well, cat's been out. You don't know. But
my cats don't smell like that.
So, I really genuinely appreciate the fact that this game, what it's really trying to sort of simulate the frustration and the difficulty. It does a good job of creating empathy for a vision-impaired person. But as a game, with only the story to rely on, because obviously what you see here is all you get gameplay-wise,
Hi, Frankie.
You're not given story. There is so little story. I think the story, the entire script for this game could probably fit on a cocktail napkin.
And then the cat appeared.
So yeah, another lead.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is.
It's one of these like novel ideas that just seems to run out of steam pretty quickly.
Right. It's too. I mean, I I don't think it overstays its welcome because it is short, but because I still think it would have had the same problems as a 1-hour game.
Yep.
I just, I'm fine. I appreciate this, and, you do you'll stumble on things and be like, oh, cool, I'm in a village now. It's interesting that what I thought was going to be a field or thought I was just walking over a bridge. Oh, now I'm in a town, I'm discovering. But I needed more story to hook me through and to sort of give me more on Rey and give me more on sort of her life or what
make you care about the character.
Making me care about the character. So
I think the most kind of damning thing about it is when we were talking about it earlier. You said, well, it's kind of boring, which like a game like this really does need some kind of hook to keep leading you forward. And if it's just this over and over again for hours, or even just a couple hours, that's just not going to do it.
So because I guess the Journey would be the sort of high bar to compare to, and that's a game where you see your goal at the beginning of the game, the mountaintop.
Yep.
And then it becomes this adventure, and the story sort of unfolds as you go along, and you're sort of learning. It becomes an allegory for life. But this game, there is empathy for Rey and for her condition, but it never sort of manifests itself in a way that's an interesting story, a riveting story.
And yet, at the end of it, you did get some, affection.
I was really mostly feeling nothing about this game. Unfortunately, again, because there's just so little happening, and I know that like this incredibly slow pace is by design. Because that's again you are blind. You cannot just run through. That's just not how you're not physically capable of that because of what Rey's situation is. But yeah, when I got to the end, all right, another clue. But when I got to the end of the game, I absolutely will not spoil it for anyone. But the game did affect me at the end, and I won't even necessarily say if it affected me in a positive or negative way, but it spent 2 hours really not having much of an effect on me. And then at the end, I was very affected, and I appreciated it for that.
Yeah. I mean, do you think if that end had come after an hour or 30 minutes, it would have had the same effect, or is it kind of building up to that?
Well, I think it's maybe a yes. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt there and say yes, because I think the length of the game does sort of create this almost mundaneness, where it's just like, okay, I'm still just walking and looking for the cat, looking for Nani, and then finally at the end, at the resolution, after that journey, pardon the phrasing there for what we were just saying, but at the end I was able to. It did make me feel something.
Now, is that an invisible wall in a game about a blind girl?
Yes, it is.
It's like every wall is invisible.
Yeah, so we're not going there, but I may have wandered up the wrong way. I'm not sure, but
I love the concept of an invisible wall in a game about a blind person. Anyway, but yeah, it seems like this is a game where you've probably gotten about 85% of what there is to get out of this game by just watching this video.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. Do I think it's worth playing? I mean, because it's short, maybe, but I mean, it is $15, which is not a ton of money, but it's for what I'm ultimately calling a mediocre game.
Probably not worth it.
Probably not, but at the same time, just watching the end on YouTube isn't going to help you either, because it's gonna you're not getting any of the context in that regard. So yeah, I can't say I'd recommend it, but I also certainly can't endorse it either.
So you're giving it a 5.5?
Yeah, right in the middle of the fives there.
Yeah.
I think is where we're landing.
But yeah, so it's not a bad experience. Has nice visual style. But
and again, I appreciate what it's attempting to do. But again, that I think the potential of a game about a a vision impaired young girl. I think the potential of that is not fully realized here.
Yeah, just didn't fill in enough blanks, huh? Just not enough story to keep you invested.
Yeah, I think so.
But an interesting concept, at least.
Well, Dan, thanks for sitting in with me as we talk through Beyond Eyes. For more on everything in the world of Xbox, you're already in the right place right here at IGN.